So last time you started in chapter 1, topic 1, about why do we study physics and what is covered in physics. And I want to remind you that in your red packet, right after the red tables, you have a checklist here, which is on page 4, that has what you need to do in each section. So under here, you had using the available resources to answer 4 general questions that needs to be submitted. And there was no formative assessment, but you can expect to write that paragraph on your chapter assessment. So now we're going to move on to section 2 or topic 2, and we're going to study a gentleman named Eratosthenes, who was one of the earliest physicists, and he determined the size of the Earth using a stick and the sunshine. But first, we're going to take a look at who was he? Who was he? When did he live? And so there is a blue shaded area at the top of the page in your textbook on page 3. And it's just a very short couple of paragraphs about Eratosthenes. And I'd like you to write down some facts about his life. He was kind of an interesting guy. He did a lot, and I'd like you to know a little bit about him. So you have some space there to write down some facts. And when you finish the list, highlight or mark the top 3 to 5, the things that you think may be the most important or most interesting that you really think you might want to remember. So pause the video for a few moments, read that section, and then come back to complete the rest of this topic. So now we want to learn a little bit about what he did and how he did it. And everybody learns a little bit differently. So here are 3 very different options for you about how to go about doing this. So in your textbook, in section 1.1, there is a subsection that is talking about the size of the Earth, and that's on pages 3 and 4 only. And you're going to want to stop at the heading that's entitled Size of the Moon on page 4. This is very well written, but you might find it harder to understand, and there is a drawing at the top of page 4. There's also a good video that I've provided the link for. There's also an online article, and this came out in Discover magazine in October of 2019, and I found it very interesting that this was considered one of the top 10 science experiments of all time. And so for this, you're only going to want to read that section. So pick any of these or all of these, but your goal is to understand how he did this and how this worked. And to conclude, you're going to want to take a look at these questions, which are on page 7 in your red packet. Again, there's space to take notes. You might find this useful to discuss with some of your classmates after they've also investigated this a little bit. Some of these are very much pertaining to his life, but some of them are a little bit more about how this calculation was done. And if you can answer these pretty well, you do pretty much understand. If you can confidently answer all of these questions, you're going to be ready for the assessment. But I'm going to encourage you to not take the assessment until after you watch part of the next video, which is where I'm going to go over some of the answers of this, just in case you're confused. So be sure to use your checklist. You've got access to all of the resources in your red packet as well as in Google Classroom. And be sure to answer the questions about who he was, what did he do, the questions, and then come back and you can listen to some of the answers.